January 2026 has arrived without explosions, missile launches, or dramatic emergency broadcasts. Yet inside NATO command centers, the atmosphere has unmistakably changed. Radar operators across Eastern Europe, the Arctic, and the Black Sea region are detecting familiar signals that suddenly behave differently. Tracking is sharper, persistence is longer, and engagement envelopes extend beyond what existing NATO models predicted. Within intelligence circles, the conclusion forms quietly but unanimously. Russia has transitioned its S-300V4 air defense system into full operational readiness. There is no official Russian announcement, no televised demonstration, no parade footage. From Moscow's perspective, none of that is necessary. The system was never intended to intimidate through spectacle. It exists to quietly deny airspace, complicate enemy planning, and alter strategic calculations before a conflict ever begins. The S-300V4 is not simply an upgraded legacy system. It represents a doctrinal shift in how Russia approaches air and missile defense at the operational level. Unlike the S-400, which NATO analysts have spent years studying as a strategic air defense asset, the S-300V4 was designed with battlefield survival and mobility in mind. Its roots trace back to Soviet-era requirements to protect armored formations from NATO's deep strike doctrine, meaning this system was engineered to operate under fire, relocate quickly, and continue fighting in contested environments. In 2026, that legacy matters more than ever, as NATO's reliance on precision standoff weapons and air dominance increasingly collides with layered Russian denial strategies. At the core of the S-300V4's threat profile is its missile architecture. The 9M82MD interceptor significantly extends engagement ranges, exceeding 400 kilometers against high-value aerial targets and offering credible interception capability against ballistic missiles during terminal and re-entry phases. This capability directly undermines NATO's assumption that long-range aviation assets, cruise missile launch platforms, and airborne command and control aircraft can safely operate beyond the reach of ground-based defenses. The S-300V4 compresses the battle space, forcing NATO aircraft to operate farther back, fly longer routes, and expend more fuel and resources simply to remain survivable. From Moscow's perspective, this is a strategic success, even if the system never fires a single interceptor in combat. What unsettles NATO planners most is how the S-300V4 blurs the traditional distinction between air defense and missile defense. Western doctrine tends to separate these roles, assigning ballistic missile defense to specialized systems like THAAD or Aegis Ashore. Russia has taken a different approach. With the S-300V4, Russian ground forces possess an integrated capability to contest ballistic threats at the tactical and operational level, while simultaneously denying airspace to aircraft and cruise missiles. This dramatically complicates NATO's escalator ladder, as missile strikes, once assumed to be low-risk signaling tools, now face interception much earlier and closer to the launch point. Radar architecture further amplifies the system's effectiveness. The S-300V4 employs multi-band radar coverage, including components optimized for detecting low observable aircraft at tactically relevant ranges. While it does not render stealth technology obsolete, it fundamentally changes how stealth functions in combat. Instead of complete invisibility, stealth becomes a means of delayed detection. That delay is no longer enough to guarantee surprise. Once an aircraft is detected early enough to cue defensive planning, the risk profile shifts dramatically. Predictability increases, and survivability decreases. Russia does not claim stealth aircraft cannot penetrate defenses. It claims they cannot do so cheaply or repeatedly. Integration is another critical factor. The S-300V4 does not operate in isolation, but forms part of a broader Russian sensor and command ecosystem that includes early warning radars, satellite-based detection, airborne platforms, and electronic warfare units. This networked environment allows the system to receive external targeting data, engage without continuous radar emission, and reduce vulnerability to suppression efforts. For NATO, this means traditional SEAD tactics become less effective, as identifying and destroying emitters no longer guarantees neutralization of the defense network. Sustainability under fire is where the S-300V4 truly distinguishes itself. Russian doctrine emphasizes prolonged engagement rather than quick, decisive strikes. The S-300V4's reload vehicles, mobility, and hardened command infrastructure allow it to survive saturation attempts that would overwhelm less robust defenses. NATO planners now face the reality that suppressing such a system would require sustained, high-cost operations involving significant missile expenditure, electronic warfare assets, and risk to high-value platforms. Every missile used to target air defenses is one not available for strategic or operational objectives, a trade-off Russia understands and exploits. Electronic warfare further tilts the balance. Russian air defense units operate alongside dedicated EW elements designed to disrupt targeting, degrade navigation systems, and flood NATO sensors with false data. The objective is not absolute denial, but decision paralysis. When targeting data becomes unreliable and timelines extend, commanders hesitate. That hesitation alone achieves much of Russia's defensive intent. Air denial, from Moscow's perspective, is measured not solely by kill ratios, but how effectively it disrupts enemy planning cycles. NATO's public silence following the S-300V4's deployment reflects recognition rather than ignorance. Acknowledging the system's full implications would require visible countermeasures, which in turn would reveal NATO's own vulnerabilities. Instead, recalibration occurs behind closed doors. Flight profiles are adjusted, ISR orbits reconsidered, cruise missile concepts reevaluated, and assumptions about safe airspace quietly discarded. This is precisely the outcome Russian planners anticipated. Deterrence is strengthened not through confrontation, but through uncertainty. From Moscow's strategic viewpoint, the S-300V4 is not an aggressive weapon, but a stabilizing one. It raises the cost of rapid escalation and undermines the notion of quick, decisive air campaigns near Russian borders. Russia has studied Western interventions for decades, observing how air superiority enabled regime change and battlefield dominance with minimal ground commitment. Systems like the S-300V4 exist to ensure that such scenarios cannot be replicated against Russian interests. By forcing time back into warfare, the system creates space for diplomacy, negotiation, and controlled escalation. In 2026, the S-300V4 reinforces a broader Russian approach that prioritizes endurance over speed and denial over domination. NATO's traditional advantage has always been rapid power projection and technological superiority. Russia's response has been to make that advantage increasingly expensive and uncertain. The deployment of the S-300V4 signals that airspace near Russia is no longer permissive. Ballistic threats will be contested at multiple levels, and any escalation will come with immediate and tangible costs. The unease within NATO stems not from Russian rhetoric, but from Russian capability. No press release was required because the message was delivered through engineering, doctrine, and quiet deployment. In modern geopolitics, the most consequential shifts often occur without headlines. And as NATO recalibrates its air power assumptions in 2026, one reality becomes clear. The air defense game has changed, and Russia intended it that way.